Hey everyone, welcome to the first webinar of ConsoliAds 2021. All right, sure. In the meanwhile, let me tell you a little bit about what ConsoliAds is. So ConsoliAds is the top emerging ad mediation platform, and it's based out of Singapore. And we're one of the fastest growing mediation platforms in EPAC and MENA regions. To simply put it, ConsoliAds helps games and apps publishers increase their revenues with ease, actually. Uh, if you want to know more about ConsoliAds, you can actually visit our website, www.consoliads.com. I'll also let's mention the speakers in our first webinar. We have Asan Mahmood. He's the founder of ConsoliAds, and he will talk about the important monetization features hidden inside ConsoliAds. Also joining us is Jawad Amjad, who's the manager monetization for the Gamestop Studios. He will, in his experience, discuss how industry experts are using ad mediation to their benefits and maximizing their ad revenues. Thirdly, on our panel today is Shahzad Qureshi. He's the CEO of OZ Technology. Mr. Qureshi will be speaking on evolution in monetization trends, 2020, and comparison of multiple mediation platforms.
Hi, Mohin. It's a pleasure to be on the board right now. It will be really interesting to do the stuff that we are looking forward to.
Welcome. Let me check if Jawad can hear us. Hi, Jawad.
Hi Moin, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks for asking. So first of all, a bundle of thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my experience and share my knowledge with regards to monetization through this webinar. I hope it will be very beneficial for all the attendees, definitely.
Most welcome. And Shahzad, can you hear us?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you. It's working fine.
All right, that's good. Now, I think so. We will wait a minute or two more so that more attendees can join in. In any case, this session will be recorded, and it will be available on our YouTube channel for people to view it later. Okay. All right, so let's begin. We will begin with Jawad. And meanwhile, feel free to ask any questions in the chat while they're speaking. So we will do our best to get them answered during the webinar. And also, we'll also have a Q&A session at the end. So Jawad, let's start. Take it away. I'll be handing you the presentation.
Great.
I think, Jawad, I think so I've given you the control. You can start.
Yeah. So can you share? Can you see my presentation? Can you?
Yes.
See my screen?
We can.
Great. Okay, so let's start. First of all, thank you everybody for joining in to the ConsoliAds webinar. It is a pleasure talking to you and listening to your question and sharing my knowledge and past experience regarding monetization. So I am Jawad, and right now I am manager production and monetization at the Gamestop Studios. I have around 10 years of experience. Basically, I am a software engineering by my I've done my graduation in software engineering. And after that, I've been into the gaming business and developing and publishing games. So the Gamestop Studios. So a little bit about the Gamestop Studios. We are the top mobile game development and publishing company in Pakistan, having offices in Lahore, Karachi, Dubai, and United States of America. We have around 150 plus employees, 1,000 plus games launched. We have since 2011 with a cumulative download of 1 billion plus. And at this point of time, we have 1.5 million daily active users, generating around 5 to 6 million daily interstitial ad impressions. And we have around 100 plus games which are already featured on Google Play. So at the right side of the screen, you can see the type of games we make. We try to, make games for all the genres, for all the ages, for all the audiences. So my today's topic is about monetization and how industry experts are, maximizing their revenues through monetization and mediation platforms. So monetization means generating revenue through mobile apps. It can be of three types. You can do that in three different ways. Number one is you have a free app which contains advertisement and in-app purchases. Number two is you have paid apps. You pay for the app to be downloaded and to be used. Number two is in-app purchases and subscriptions. In-app purchases mean, you have your app has some virtual currency or any in-game item that a user can use to, improve their gameplay or maybe customize their gameplay. And number two is subscription. So subscription in-app purchase is a one-time, purchase, and subscription is a weekly basis, on a weekly basis or monthly basis. For example, if your app has an energy system, which maybe you have 5 lives or 5 chances, so you can offer a subscription to the user that if they purchase our subscription, they will be getting regular updates of the customization and some in-game currency or maybe unlimited lives or energy, for example. Number three, which we will be focusing on today, is in-app ads monetization. So in-app ad monetization means that you have a game or application, mobile game or application, in which you have placed ads to maximize your revenues. So let's talk about monetization through in-app ads. So normally, when you try to do in-app advertisement, you focus on the strategy which you are going to be implement regarding your ads and how it is mixed and matched with your gameplay. So you choose the right ad partners and technology. Ad formats, so normally we have three kind of ad formats which are widely used. Number one is banner ads, number two is interstitial and video ads, and number three are rewarded ads, which are at the top when it comes to the eCPM and payouts. And the placeholders mean that the places in your app or game where you want to show advertisements. So for example, it could be a level complete. You can show an ad on level complete. You can show an ad on level fail, or maybe your games are designed in such a way that you have a place to show banner ad throughout your game on the top or at the bottom of the screen. So these are called placeholders. And number four, which are normally ignored when it comes to monetization through in-app ads, is user experience. So you have to choose the placeholders, ad formats in such a way that it improves the user experience, right? So maybe, for example, a bad strategy when it comes to user experience through in-app ads would be that a user is playing a game and a video ad automatically shows on the screen when the user is already doing something in the game or already is about to clear the level or he's about to kill an enemy, for example. So these kind of things come in the user experience. You have to keep in mind the number one priority should be user experience. So normally we see that when you place ads where user is not diverted from the game, actual game, that does not hit the user experience in a bad way. For example, if a gameplay, if a user is playing a game or using an app, you can place a banner ads at the top away from the UI, keeping in mind all the policies from the ad networks. So that normally would not hurt any user experience. And when it comes to interstitial ads and video ads, you can place interstitial ads and video ads at places which are normally called natural pauses on the game. For example, as I said earlier, it could be, a level complete, maybe a level pause, or maybe a level fail screen. So number three, the placement for rewarded ad is, very important. So first of all, your game should be addicted enough. There should be addiction in your game, and users should feel the need of, watching a rewarded video to get the virtual currency or any in-game item that depends upon the type of games or in-game items you are using. So when it comes to ad monetization, you need to understand what is ad mediation, because ad mediation is widely used and it should be used. If you are not using ad mediation, trust me, you are losing a lot of revenues from which you can earn from your games. So what is ad mediation? Mediation is basically a mechanism which helps you to sell your ad inventory using multiple ad networks. So what is an ad network? As ad network is a platform, you could call it a platform, you could call it a company who gives you an SDK, or who gives you a mechanism to show ads in your games or apps. So ad mediation basically is, if I say it very simple words, ad mediation is use of multiple ad networks to sell your ad inventory. So you can do the ad mediation manually, or you can use any platform to do the things automatically which manually you cannot do. For example, manually means that, for example, you integrate AdMob SDK, plus you separately integrate Unity Ads SDK, and you separately integrate ConsoliAds SDK, and you try to manage the ads through a hard-coded logic or through your code, which whenever needs change, you will need to update your game. That is called a manual ad mediation. Or a second option can be that you are using a platform which offers manual mediation and auto mediation both. So in manual mediation, you will go to your app on the portal, you will select the ad placeholders, and you will tell the platform manually that what ad networks you want to use priority wise. So that is, two types of mediation. Number three is, what are the factors which are very important when it comes to in-app monetization and maximizing your revenues. So the two major factors are fill rates and ECPM. The water fill rates. So if you want to make more money from your app, you would want to get around 100% maybe fill rate, or maximum fill rates mean maximum ad revenues. And ECPMs are the payouts which you get on 1000 impressions. So if I say, for example, the ECPM is $2, it means that you are generating $2 on 1000 when you show 1000 ad impressions. And the header bidding is the new technology. It means that each and every impression is bid by the advertiser or by the ad networks, and whoever bids the highest for the ad, that ad will be shown into your app. So eventually it will also increase your revenues. So yeah, there are some drawbacks of manual mediations. It is difficult to optimize. So let's take an example. For example, if you have an app which has a good amount of daily active users spread across the globe, you will not be able to optimize uh, this app for maximize revenue when you are using manual mediation, because for that you will need to see, for example, let's take USA as your user's geolocation. For in USA, if you have implemented 5 ad networks, maybe the fourth one or fifth one is performing better. And if you go to the Indian users, maybe the first one is performing better. And similarly, if you go to any other country, maybe the third one or fourth one is performing better. So you will not be able to, manually do all these things and manually analyze all the data to know that which ad network is performing best for which ad placement and for which geolocation. So that is how it is difficult to optimize. Number two is difficult to standardize. So because it is difficult to optimize for one app, it will be very difficult to optimize and standardize for the whole portfolio that you are carrying with yourself on the Play Store or Apple Store. So if it is logical that if you are if it is difficult to do for one app, it is very difficult to standard to do for example 10 apps if you have 10 apps or if you have 20 apps in your on your portfolio. So number three is difficult to getting maximum revenues. So you cannot optimize it, you cannot standardize it. It means you are not getting the maximized revenues. And because everything is manual, you cannot sit all the day to check the eCPMs and optimizing it yourself manually. So fluctuating eCPMs is a very big problem in manual mediation. So for every ad network or every advertisers, they don't pay the same all the time. So when the eCPM fluctuate, it is most likely that you will not be able to know that information timely, and you will not be able to act on that in a timely manner. This will reduce your revenues at the end of the day. So auto mediation, what are the benefits of using auto mediations? So everything which you try to do manually in manual mediation, the auto mediation platforms or algorithms do it automatically for you. You don't have to optimize your ads for specific geos or specific placeholders or specific users. It is automatically done by the platforms which are available in the market. So again, there is a difference between waterfall and header bidding. So normally, majority of the developers, they are using waterfall mechanism. So waterfall mechanism is that, so it is decided on the historical basis, historical data, that which ad network or which ad type is performing best for a specific geolocation or a specific users, and that is then it is prioritized. For example, one could be a Unity ads for a specific user. Number two could be Unity ads. Number three could be ConsoliAds, and number four could be, for example, Ad Colony. So this priority mechanism is called waterfall mechanism, and it is normally based on the historical data, and it is also called in this it is also called your unsold inventory. So for example, if there is an advertiser and he has run some campaigns in maybe USA, and you have users who are USA who want to watch an ad, so it will be decided on their eCPMs and fill rates, that how much they are paying based on the historical data. Whereas in header bidding, if you request for an ad, it goes to the server. All the ad networks or the demand partners, they bid for that impression. So it is the normal concept of bidding. So they bid for that impression at the runtime. So the higher bidders get the chance to show his ads in your applications. So this is the new big thing, and there are platforms which are using header bidding. It might be a bit difficult to you know integrate at this point of time because it is the new thing, but definitely if you can, you should use the header bidding instead of the conventional waterfall method. And there is another benefit of auto mediation. So when you are doing auto mediation, everything is centralized, and it is very easy for you to analyze and adjust your strategy after you have seen the results and after you have integrated the SDKs or the platform. So for example, you can see that on your portfolio or on your app, a specific ad type is working better than which is not integrated on the other apps or or games you have integrated. So that could be very beneficial for you if you can analyze the data at the central place, because today everything is all about data, and the more you analyze the data, the more control you get over your revenues, and more it is more easy for you to strategize your next game or optimize your current games or applications. Also, you can see the comparison in a single window, and that will help you understand that which ad networks are better for your current type of applications or current type of users. And also in automation, it is very easy to connect or disconnect ad networks through the portal. So you will not be required to update the code and update the application on the Play Store and wait for the result. You can do it from the portal and see the results very quickly. So because everything is automated, so automatic waterfall or header bidding mechanism will make sure that you are getting higher fill rates, and eventually that will be helping you in generating more and more revenues, and you can focus on improving your games and all the KPIs, instead of you're focusing half of the day or a day on your ad strategies and things like that. So this is automation is being used by the developers across the globe. So more and more developers are being moved from the manual conventional way to the automation mechanisms. So there are some other advantages. Obviously you can integrate once, as I said earlier. You don't need to update your application to change your ad strategies. You just integrate once and make all the changes from the platform, and or you can keep it on auto mode, and automation algorithms and platforms will do the thing for you. You can make the changes very easily. Single dashboard to analyze data, connect, disconnect demand partners is very easy, and open bidding is the new big thing. So because open bidding is the new thing, more and more ad networks and more platforms are moving towards it, and you can always get advantage of using open bidding system instead of the conventional waterfall method. Yeah. So another thing which is called app ads.txt. This is the thing which is being missed by majority of the indie developers or mid-sized developers. So what is app ad.txt? So previously you don't have to authorize anybody to sell your inventory while you are selling your inventory. So it is a system in which you authorize the ad networks or your partners to sell your ad inventory. So for example, when you integrate an ad network in your app, basically you are selling your inventory. So that ad networks now wants you to authorize him or authorize it to app ads.txt, so that advertisers can take benefits advertisers can take advantage from it. So eventually what happens is what was happening before that, advertisers were not sure that whether the developer has authorized himself to sell the inventory. So setting up app ads.txt is very important, and it is improving the revenues. You need to always keep it updated. It is a very simple text file. It is to be placed on your domain name which you have associated with your developer account, and you just need to take the entries from your ad networks or platforms which you are using and just copy and paste it in your app ads.txt. So this is how you will be authorizing them to sell your inventory, and this will improve your eCPMs. So normally people don't do this, and based on my experience, it is very important. You should be doing this. If you are not doing it right now, you should integrate app ads.txt so that everything in the ecosystem is in place, and you can focus on the improvement of your games or app and other things, instead of putting a lot of effort on your ads monetization strategies.
All right,
Yeah,
Jawad.
going. So this is it for me.
I have to
G,
ask
just
you a
going.
question like
Yeah,
that
sure,
popped
sure.
up
What
in
is
my
it?
head. So, what mistakes do you think, in your experience, like publishers make when it comes to monetization strategies? I understand you glossed over those strategies, but what do you
Yeah,
think, in your experience, is something like underlying factor in their strategies, mistakes in their
right.
strategies?
So there are then the normal mistakes are as follows. We are talking about the mid-sized developers and mid-sized companies. We are not talking about the AAA companies or big players. So number one is they do not follow the integration guidelines as they should be, right? So normally people think that they know how to code, they know how to integrate. So they normally miss the documentation, miss the best practices, and they integrate and they eventually lose their revenues. That is the number one mistakes people make. Number two is they are not sure or they don't optimize the placeholders and the type of ads they want to use. So for example, they are more likely to put ads everywhere in the game or apps without optimizing the placeholder. So for example, if a placeholder is to be used for a banner ad, they normally integrate interstitial or video ads there, right? So where it is required to integrate interstitial ads, they normally integrate video ads over there. So this is another mistake which people make. So you need to make sure that user experience is not hurt in any way, right? So you need to
Yeah.
make sure that you are using the right placeholders, you are using the right ad types, and plus number three is you are using the right ad network partners and strategies. So it could be manual mediation or it could be auto mediation. So these are the mistakes normally people make when it comes to the in-app advertising.
All right. All right. So another thing is like there are some publishers, they're adamant on uh, what do you call my question was originally like what's your opinion on publishers using automation versus manually to optimize their traffic for better revenues and better user experience? So what I'll modify the question is like there are some publishers that are adamant on using non automation, like they're manually setting it up. What's your say on the on that particular aspect?
Well, to be honest, let me share with you my experience. When I didn't knew about the automation and open bidding and things like these I also used to use manual mediation. But when I switched to auto mediation, I saw a huge difference in revenues. So that is what normally you do. If you are
Mhm.
keen to use manual mediation, you should never stop at it. You should always try the new technologies, the new mediation algorithms, to at least you have the data to compare both of them, right? So this is how
Yeah,
I converted to auto mediation from the manual mediation. And normally I suggest people to always use both of them. So a time will come when they will be convinced themselves that auto mediation is better and it is generating more revenues for them. So they will automatically shift to auto mediation. But if you say what if you ask me for yes or no, I will definitely go with the auto mediation over the manual mediation.
all right, so that's nice. Because like I got a lot of questions from our attendees. They were basically pointing it towards it. I think so. I got three questions. So I have modified my question in my mind. So like I fine tuned it to the
That's
attendees.
great. That is great. You always ask question, and if you don't ask questions, you will be stuck at a point. So obviously,
Yeah.
everybody have a different background. They come from different kind of education and different kind of mindset. So it is better to learn from other experience of others instead of
Mhm.
trying it yourself and failing yourselves. So
Yeah,
I
of
am
course.
telling you that for the last 6 to 7 years, I have been into the monetization,
Mhm.
and myself, I always try to, integrate different kind of platforms, different kind of automation algorithms, and then I choose that which one is best for the audience which I have right now.
All right.
So you always
Okay.
need to keep trying
Thank you so
and
much. There's
using new.
another query from one of our attendees. So what,
Yeah,
in fact, General Aberdeen is asking it. Like he's just asking, can you explain app ads.txt again in like simple words? I think so. I'd probably think he
yeah,
couldn't
sure.
understand. And
Okay,
I'll
sure.
tell you a little bit about Zen. Zen is a new client of ours, so he's just onboarded. So I think so. He needs a little more info regarding app ads.txt.
Sure. So, this question have been asked many times, but by many people. In fact, many people in my team have asked this question. So if you go to Google and search for app.txt, there is there are long articles on it, and it is very difficult to understand from there. So keeping it simple, app.txt is a mechanism through which you authorize your ad network to sell your inventory, right? So for example, if I have this pen, if I am the owner of this pen and I want to sell it, right? Previously, I used to put it in the market, and everybody who can come can purchase it without my knowledge, right? So app.txt is that I authorize you to sell it on behalf of me,
All
right?
right.
So the purchaser can know that this product belongs to Jawad and Moin is authorized to sell it.
All
So
right.
no, this automatically prevents the frauds which are being happening in the advertising world, in the digital advertising world. So eventually, time by time, things change, things improve. So this is a new. You just keep it simple. This is a mechanism which in which you are authorizing someone, which are your ad networks or your partners, to sell your inventory, right? That's it. This is the simplest definition, and the integration is very simple as well. You just take their IDs or their app.txt entries and put it in your app.txt. That's it. You just This is how you are authorizing them to sell your inventory, right? So this
All
is
right.
an ecosystem. There is a purchaser which is called advertiser, and there is a seller which is called a developer or publisher, and in between there are many ad networks or many DSPs and SSPs and things like that. So advertisers wants to know if these ad networks or platforms are authorized to sell the inventory from the publisher or developer. So previously there was no rule. Everybody can come and everybody can sell and everybody can purchase. So this is a mechanism to improve this ecosystem, and this also helps. So when an advertiser sees that this is authorized seller, then it boosts his confidence and he is willing to pay more for your ad slot, right?
All right. All right. I think so that
So this is
that
what
pretty much explains it. Thank you for going into detail, and thank you for your time.
thank you.
I think so. Now we'll be moving to Asad Mahmood. He's the founder of ConsoliAds, and he will share information regarding the important monetization features hidden inside
Great.
ConsoliAds.
That's great.
So, all right, I'll be handing over the controls to Asad.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. Pleasure to have you on board. It's always lovely to see getting engaged with publishers, let them know about how things can be done, how things are being done in the industry. And thank you, Jawad, for all the details and all the way you actually explain things very simply. It was pretty much interesting for us. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, you guys might be knowing about ConsoliAds by now. We are basically a very custom-made platform, and that's what we want to tell to the publisher. So today what I'll be talking about is generally how the platform is being made. The intent of the platform itself is that we should be able to handle all the monetization that you guys want. We claim that we are a platform that is not very similar to any of the platform that is available right now in the market. Quite a few names that we already know, but we take things pretty much differently. So the important things that usually people miss out when using ConsoliAds is they compare ConsoliAds primarily to the other ad networks, or for that matter, the existing mediation layers. Most of them being used like Ad Mediation, Iron Source, or for that matter, MoPub as well. And interestingly, we have been able to deal with all of the clients who actually were using them as well. And we have been successfully able to switch them to the ConsoliAds. So I would like to tell everybody that whenever you guys focus on using ConsoliAds, we will talk about today as how to configure yourself in ConsoliAds, because that's primarily a very different way you do it. And how integration is something that we are responsible for. We want to take care of that. And finally, we'll tell how analysis can be much easier and the kind of acquisition that you can do with ConsoliAds. So let's go ahead with the configurations part. We'll be talking about how ConsoliAds is kind of different as opposed to other mediation platforms, because we understand that the kind of publishers we work with, they have a complete company setup that they want to bring on board. They have got they've got developers working with them, they've got marketing people working with them. You guys have your multiple brands. So I'll actually show you on a demo that how brands are incorporated in ConsoliAds as just separate sub entities. You can have your apps belonging to multiple brands. You can have your brand level integrations. And once you set up the brand, how you can actually create roles and users according to that roles and rights, so that the complete company management can take place. You would not want to show most of the information or all of the information for everybody in the company that you want. So we understand that there are developers working constantly in our games, and we know that there are managers who are handling the strategy behind that. So let's go ahead and let's have a look at the dashboard itself. I just want to make sure that if you guys are able to see the dashboard. Moin, can you confirm that the dashboard is visible?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So guys, when you just log into ConsoliAds, that's a kind of a dashboard you will be able to see. But let's not go into the details for now. Let's see what kind of options that we can really do, and the user and brand management that I was talking about. If you go to the company section, the first thing that you need to understand is you need to have multiple brand of yours, right? While making brands, you have that's what I told you. You can have your own balances for promotion. You can have your apps belonging to that brands. You can have your integration to multiple ad accounts in case there are API integrations required. But as it's a very simple way to just define a new brand. Just go do a new brand. You'll be able to just give the name and all the relevant settings relevant to it, and that's it. You don't have to work more on that. Let me just get the screen refreshed to make you show how it looks like. It's a very simple form, a brand name, detail. Even we are able to cater for the more apps URLs that you have, so that you can directly integrate that into your SDK as well. Once you are done with the brands, you need to understand that the users are the ones that play a vital role in making the game itself. Generally, what we have seen previously is, as I said, people compare themselves to the other mediation and ad network platforms, in which most of the times the platforms are being used to generate ad IDs only, or the access to the apps only. In ConsoliAds, we work differently, right? So if you see all these people, like internal people, like external people, you can just, if you see the new user use case, your developer we emphasize that your developer should be able to log into ConsoliAds as well. Every user is able to log into ConsoliAds, provided the kind of brands they have access to, the role you have chosen for them. If you choose a developer, so you can customize all the kind of access you want to give to them. So my word of advice to everybody: the platform is meant to have collaborative work. It's not just one sign-off kind of a thing, one account kind of a thing. We make sure that everybody in your company gets involved in making the games and actually having monetization on that. So do figure out that, make sure you have all the people in place, get going with the development process. Switching back to the presentation itself, what's the next thing we're going to talk about is basically we'll be now looking at how the integration is. So it's the kind of engineering challenges that we incur every now and then. It's a managed code policy for ConsoliAds. What does that mean? Which means we make the code for you. We keep on optimizing for all the kind of possible errors that might be incurred due to the integration process. We do all the ad networks updates for you, and we expect you to write minimal lines of code. We literally want that. As opposed to other platforms in which you have to write your own wrappers, you have to do your own programming and stuff. We don't want you to keep those guys with yourself. Rather, we would just do the stuff for you. We will go through the documentation itself as well. And a very, very, very important thing that we need to know is please follow the documentation, because every now and then these documentations are being written by hardcore developers themselves, and they are being cross-checked by the external clients as well. So the understanding or the comprehension gets much better and better every now and then. So before doing that as well, try to uninstall anything that you have on board, because every update has its own new feature set. Then we'll tell you how successful integration looks like, and we'll talk about mediation as well. I think Jawad gave a good heads on that. We'll try to do that as well. So let's go and see how we should follow the documentation itself. There's a specific documentation part on the dashboard. If you click on the documentation section, that's where you go. You can choose the documentation for which you want to have a look. I think this is the next screen. The previous screen looks like this of the knowledge base. Let me open that for you. So our knowledge base would have all the developer docs, the getting started questions. Let me just close this. Yeah. The getting started questions, anything about user acquisition, and all the important links that you might find in terms of the frequently asked questions that you people, publishers and advertisers face. So you would be having all that over here. If you go to the latest Unity plugin, you can easily see that you just need to follow everything step by step. We would definitely appreciate if you do that. This step being the most important, that please remove all the previous installations to get yourself updated to the new ones. Once you do that, just follow the steps. You have all that pictorial representation of what you might see, what you might get. Then you can actually download your plugins from this section. You can download either for Unity, Android, or iOS, and at the same time, you can download each and every of your ad network for all of these three platforms as well. Once you are done with that and you follow the documentation, you are primarily bound to see how your application integration looks like. So, okay, let's have a look at one of the apps that is already integrated. In your apps managed section, you'll be able to see all the apps that you have already integrated with ConsoliAds. And once you go into the details of them, you'll be able to see how the integration looks like. So I'll be just checking on one. This is a demo account. I'll be just checking on one of the apps and actually show you how things look like. The integration process, believe me, is as simple as the kind of flow you see over here. As in, your app is imported directly into ConsoliAds. You just make sure that your integration is right. Now, what exactly is integration? How exactly is the integration in ConsoliAds? ConsoliAds basically has two different modes. That's called the dev mode and the live mode itself, right? So the dev environment makes sure that whatever you do stays within the development environment. I think I need to give time for it to refresh. Something is making a bit slower. Let me try to refresh that. Okay, so just telling you again the flow. The app gets imported into your ConsoliAds portal or dashboard. So in the dev mode, what we have made sure is whatever you do in the development environment doesn't go live. It does not affect the live environment until and unless you push your settings to the live app by yourself. Once you do on the development mode, you're able to, this is where the magic usually happens. You're able to configure all your placeholders, all your waterfalls according to the region. Jawad primarily told you how auto mediation and manual mediation works primarily. You can just choose the placeholders and regions, and you can just choose waterfall for every region that you want. I'm pretty surprised, just like demos in the world goes, and our demos get kind of sloppy as well right now. I don't know what's making it longer than. Let me just check for my internet as well. Whoa. Are you guys able to see the refresh screen?
Yeah, I think so. I can.
Okay.
I think
Something is going slow on the internet side from my end as well. Okay, so I was telling you that in the development mode, you can actually configure for every placeholder, for every ad type. You can actually choose waterfalls for every region that you want to. In that case, you should be very confident of the fact that once you're able to see ads in your development mode, you are likely to see ads on the live mode as well. Not likely, you're 100% surely see your ads in the live mode. So the integration is as such that when you integrate the ConsoliAds SDK, you would be able to see all the ad networks that are integrated along with their versions of those ad networks, so that you don't have to remember them, and you'd be actually recording what kind of ad versions were there in your specific game. What you do is you just call out, the developer would be just integrating the SDK and call out the show interstitial functions, show add functions, so that they don't even have to worry about if the configurations are dependent on the placeholders or not. You just show the ads, your ads will be shown by default, and even the placeholders can be created later on. So as Jawad told, what is the emphasis of a placeholder? In a placeholder, you're actually able to record information for a specific place in your game. Could be selection scene, could be gameplay, could be a loading screen, only because you want to analyze where your ad responds the best. So once you're done with all those settings for all the ad formats, hope you can see them: rewarded videos, natives, banner ads, and icons. You'll be able to see this apply to live button that's right on the top right corner. Once you apply that to the lives, your live settings will be the same as your development settings. Over here, you'll be able to mediate your game either based on auto mediation or the manual waterfalls that you choose for yourself. Please note that whenever you do that in the auto mediation, the settings for every placeholders are separately available over here as well. As in, if you want that placeholder to show no ads at all, you can configure that yourself. You have all the rights to stop them from being shown on any of the placeholders. Or for that matter, if during the auto mediation you want to turn off any of the ad networks, you can just stop them from being shown through the auto mediation as well. So in ConsoliAds, you have as much control on auto mediation as you have on when you do it manually, which means that you can do all that stuff knowing the fact that system will be optimizing your inventory or your traffic for specific placeholders for the specific user in the specific region in the world for every ad format. So we are talking about some good computation over here. For example, if this game has 4 placeholders, we have got 250 regions, and you have got 6 ad formats. That's a kind of optimization for every waterfall. For example, you have made 7 ad networks. They're going to be optimized all the time. That's what automation is for. By now, you should be able to see the success of your integration, and your live game should be able to see ads. There are much more things that you can do with your ad serving, because as I said, we are responsible for the monetization part. You can actually hide all your ads through ConsoliAds if you want to. Just use the toggle button for hide ads. That will be done. If you think, oh, we forgot to tell you that our ads were child directed, in the app details section, go to the child directed toggle, just turn it on, and believe me, all your ads will be COPPA compliant. That's the beauty of the platform itself. At the same time, if you think you need to put your ad filters for all the ad networks that you're already using, just choose the ad network from the list. It could be Ad Colony, Unity Ads, or whatever that you think you want to configure. You just need to configure those ad filters right over here, and they're going to be automatically filtered in your live apps. By now, I just talked about the whole integration process. Just make sure that I haven't left out anything. Yeah, so we talked about the documentation. Yeah, go ahead, Moin.
Asad, I would like to ask like a question like that pops up quite often in my like daily work, right? So the thing is, there's some confusion with publishers regarding dev mode and test mode. I know like they're very two opposite things, but if you could like shed a little light on what test mode is and what's the difference with dev mode.
Oh yeah, I think that's a very relevant question. So generally, let me just go back to the demo itself. So basically, as I said, dev mode is meant to create your whole environment within your development side, so that you don't want to push anything on your live app. Nothing goes to your live app. That's called the development mode. The test mode is basically for you to test ads. So if the test mode is on, you'll be able to see the test ads for all the ad networks that are integrated within your app. So that's what the primary difference is. When you turn on the test mode, you'll be able to see all the test modes in your app. And the dev environment keeps account for all the placeholder settings, for all the ad placements that you want to do. For example, in the dev mode, from the dashboard, you can even see the placement of the banners themselves, their position, the type of the banner that you want to use, be it a smart banner, mid-size rectangular banner, standard banner, whatever you want. All those configurations are available on the development side. I hope that makes it a bit clear, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's perfectly
Fair enough.
clear.
So getting back to the integration process, we talked about how we can successfully understand that integration has been done. You should be able to see ads. That's it. Simple as that. Once you're confident that you're seeing all the ads, just make your app live and push your settings to the live as well. We'll proceed and let's see what kind of analysis do we need to do. I think there's a very strong analysis part as well. Generally, everybody does not have that aptitude to do that. I will just try to give you very simple understanding of how it should be done on ConsoliAds. Again, even the analysis part is what we are just trying to cater for the publishers. We don't want you to just do very complex reporting for yourself. These are very easy stats that you can just dig down by pressing buttons and clicks. So for example, for this particular game, you want to see the downloads and you want to have a look at the top regions. You just have this sorting of the downloads, and you would be able to see what are the top regions for your app. So generally, advertisers the publishers focus on publishing their apps to specific regions, and sometimes they don't end up in those regions. They need to be very careful in understanding what kind of regions do these apps are being published for. Once you do that, as Jawad very rightly said, that why are fill rates so important? So there's a very interesting concept I want you guys to know is there is a fill of the ad network itself, and then there is a fill of the placeholder itself. So ConsoliAds has a very interesting fill rate optimization algorithm that makes sure that despite of the ad network serving might be low, we always try to improvise or optimize the fill rates with respect to every specific placeholder. So if you see over the stats over here, because the serving done by ad networks, it's primarily for this game, this is demo data, it's like 30%, around 30%. So ConsoliAds would optimize it to 66, 67%, giving a good 80 to 90% incremental fill rate to make sure that every placeholder is actually serving ads, be it be skipped by any of the ad networks. So the algorithm is very strong on making sure the higher ads you serve for the given number of impressions, the higher the chance you have to earn more as well. So that's the first parameter that you think of. And honestly speaking, we in the recent SDK or plugin, we have been able to witness on average more than 90% fill rate. So just have a good look on that. Once you know your top downloads regions, your fill rates, it's very easy in the revenue section just to choose an ad network, choose those regions that you think are your top 5 ones, and for the specific ad type, just see what are the revenues and what could be the eCPMs that are being offered. Just have a good look at the eCPMs. eCPMs get optimized on multiple parameters. In ConsoliAds, as part of the backend algorithms, we make sure that we do all the right things to optimize eCPMs. And I believe you in me, fill rates have a big say in that. If your fill rates are not optimized, you would be not getting good eCPMs as well. That's what we have seen, and that's what we know from our prior experience as well. So that's a very simple analysis that you can do for your specific apps. I would recap: find your top regions, get the ad stats in terms of fill rates, monitor the eCPMs. That's only that you need to do. Apart from that, the system is there. It's doing the optimizations for you all the time. Finally, if that looks for one specific game, you can do exactly the same kind of cohorts and analysis for your whole company data as well. So if I just open the revenue tab in a new window, so in the reports and revenue section, you will be actually able to see the same kind of information across your company. You have filters to do a cross-brand cohort. You can choose your specific stores, specific regions, specific ad networks, specific ad formats. Don't hesitate to look at that. But I think the generic problem that people, in fact, the generic kind of generalization that people do, which I believe is kind of a wrong, is that they just look at the flat eCPMs across the board, which I think is not the right way to go about. In case you need to understand a flat eCPM as well, to at least go on the ad type specifically, because the eCPMs across ad types vary drastically as well. And the second most important attribute would be the region itself. So that's a very simple analysis that you should be doing, because the rest is up to us. You don't have to worry about that. In case everything goes wrong on any side, we are here to cater that for you. You can do the same for the mediation traffic. You can have a look at the placeholders. What kind of placeholders? How are they performing across the whole portfolio of yours? Your ad stats across the placeholders that are encompassed by all the apps that you have. Similarly goes for the downloads and regions and the same stuff. Due to the shortage of time, or I'll just try to keep simple, I'll just try to talk about what you guys should be looking at. So again, we talked about what to analyze and the easily comprehensible reports. And finally, I'll tell you that there's a very good section about user acquisition as well in ConsoliAds. On the acquisition side, we have tried to make things very, very simple as well.
I had a question in my mind, so before you proceed, I'd just like to ask you on it so that you could explain it onwards.
Okay.
So, do you think campaigns are being utilized at their what you can say maximum potential?
Yeah, let me head to that. I will just try to explain that once I get into it. Generally, people in these campaigns as well, we are slightly different of how we handle campaigns as opposed to the other platforms. But before I proceed to that, there are a few concepts that I need people to know. In ConsoliAds, there's a concept called app groups that generally publishers don't use. App groups are basically custom specific groups that you can create across your brands. You can have, you can pick and choose your own apps. You can say that I want to make a group of apps that is for teenage girls. Perfectly fine. You can just put in all those apps that you think should be within that group, so that in future you can do a cross promotion on that. It's a very strong feature that nobody, not most of the advertisers are not using that way. So the first thing that I wanted to highlight was the app groups. Then I'll be actually telling about firstly cross promotion itself, because that's a very strong thing that we have, and publishers use them very much, and I'm happy that they get some really good results out of them. But before you proceed with the cross promotion, there's still one very interesting thing that publishers still don't know. You can even cross promote a content that is not yours, which essentially means that you would be able to do a direct deal with anybody you want to. So for that matter, you have a game that focuses on a target audience of game players from 13 to 30 years of age, and then you approach to another advertiser and say, hey, I've got this audience with myself, would you want to advertise? So just choose, is your app integrated with ConsoliAds? You can choose no, and you can simply have a direct invoicing with that advertiser and promote his or her or whatever the content that you want in your game. Generally people don't know that. I'll just go through the targeting of an already integrated ConsoliAds game that is primarily your own, and I would want to show how the targeting looks like, because that's a recent thing that we have changed in ConsoliAds. How important it is that your targeting should be very strong in terms of determining that your game will be cross-promoted correctly. When you make a campaign, you can make a campaign for all the ad formats. The best part, we support all 6 ad formats while promoting your game in cross-promotion campaigns. You can choose your specific app that you want to from a specific brand. So for example, let's choose one. You can upload the creators as well. The targeting part, you can target your campaign according to the age group. You have your daily impressions per user cap, your total daily impressions cap. Please don't forget to use them. I think they are very important, because in terms, sometimes you want to balance out your own cross promotion with your own monetization as well. So the best part is when you choose this limit, ConsoliAds will stop cross promoting for that day and would start running the mediation waterfall in that place, which means once you're done with your cross promotion, you would start getting money through the same placeholders. Number one. Secondly, you need to understand that where to publish your content in. You can either choose the app groups that I just explained, or your specific brands as well. Interesting part, all the user roles and rights are very much according to their own limitations. So if anybody is making something or any app has access to specific brands, it will stay within that. It will not distort the experience of the other games or other brands as well. So you have all the rights to specific brands or specific apps in those brands, but don't forget to mention specific placeholders where you would really want to promote that app. Be very specific on that, because whatever placeholder you choose, the apps supporting those placeholders for cross promotion would start cross promoting your app, because cross promotion has the highest priority over all other ad serving. So you just need to understand few important points. If the app is being auto-mediated and you choose to promote one of your app on a specific placeholder, the auto-mediation algorithm will give priority to your cross-promotion and not your monetization. This is something that I think there has been a recent change, and publishers don't really understand or grasp the change itself. So on the other hand, if your app is being manually mediated, it will be showing cross promotion according to your own preference of placing ConsoliAds within the waterfall. So for example, I just create a campaign and promote that on the placeholder of gameplay, and any of your game has a manual mediation, and on gameplay, ConsoliAds as an ad network is integrated on the 4th position. Your chances of showing a cross promotion will only occur when ConsoliAds gets a chance to show the ad. I hope I'd made that clear. The difference between how your targeting works on an auto-mediated apps versus on your manually mediated apps. That's a very important thing to take care of. Similarly, you can just upload your creatives for your specific ad format, and you're up and running. It's again a very different perspective of creating campaigns, because generally when you do that on other platforms, you have multiple screens to create your campaigns. We just tried to make it as simple as we could, and it's a one-screen operation for us. Once you save that, your app campaign is up and running. And I would quickly go through an advertising campaign, which is exactly in the same lines. You can advertise your own content, or you can choose to advertise somebody else's content. When you choose a non-integrated ConsoliAds content, you have to make sure that you use an attribution tool as well. It could be AppsFlyer, it could be Adjust, it could be Kochava. But I would specifically talk about the targeting based on advertising campaigns. It's according to the app or content that you choose. So for example, if I choose the same app here, and that would be from Google Play, then you'll get the specific or a rough estimates size of the audience that you might be able to target, and at the same time target according to either the game categories, the age segment, the regions, or for that matter daily impressions per user cap. The best part with ConsoliAds is the kind of suggested bids that we have, the kind of CPIs and CPCs and CPM rates that we have. I believe they are very, very, very competitive, and you'll be having a good conversion with that as well. So the cost per install is very, very economical over here. I think I did cover a lot of campaigning part as well. So let me go back and see if I've covered the whole section. Yes, we talked about app groups. We talked about cross promotions, how the targeting works, how you should be very much careful about targeting in terms of your own games, making sure that you understand the difference between auto-mediated games versus manually mediated games, and then our advertising campaigns to have best CPIs. Finally, I'll be just telling you what is it that's coming as part of our monetization evolution. We are constantly working on making sure that you get all the benefits of how to monetize better every now and then. We'll be introducing in-app purchase campaigns in the next upcoming SDK soon. You'll have the chance of actually restricting, because that's the thing that we have heard many times, that a lot of video ads actually distort the user experience. So soon you'll be able to restrict your specific placeholders to static interstitials only if you really want to show only interstitial images over there. I think that would be a major game changer. And you can have, again, I think there's something that was in demand for a while. We are just bringing it back with a very improved algorithm, that you can have your specific waterfalls for every placeholder that you want to. In terms, if you're doing a manual mediation, every placeholder can have its own waterfall. And finally, you might be able to see very, very improved reporting as well, in which you'll be able to play around with your own metrics as well as your own dimensions, the way you want to see the data. I think that's more like it. As a recap, that's what we did for today: configuration, integration, analysis, and campaigns. And I'm sure that you might be able to understand what's hidden inside ConsoliAds that is not there in the other ad mediation platforms or the ad networks themselves. Thank you very much, guys. I hope that was pretty useful for you, all of you.
All right, thank you, Asad. There's a question from an attendee. What they're asking about is like, I think so they do not have any prior experience with cross promotion, so they're asking for like, what's the exact definition of cross promotion?
It's very simple. There's just like you have an advertising campaigns that you run on Google Ads. What an advertising campaign does is it actually helps you target your game on the apps and content of other people that have their apps and games on the Play stores or on the web or on the other platforms. But what cross promotion does is you have the control of promoting your new content within your own content. And that's precisely how I told you that you can choose specific brands, you can choose multiple ways of targeting within your own game. And that's how you optimize your balance between your user acquisition and your ad monetization. I hope that helps, Moin.
I think so. That's perfectly enough. Thank you so much for your time, and I don't think so. I should keep Shehzad waiting any longer. So, Mr. Shehzad is the CEO of Aussie Technology, and he'll be speaking about the evolution in monetization trends in the 2020 COVID hit world and the comparison of different mediation platforms. And I'll be shifting over the control to Mr. Shehzad. Just a second.
Hi, hi everyone. Um, um, Moin, can you give me the
Yeah,
control?
just a second.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Shahzad Ahmed Qureshi. I am basically CEO of Aussie Technology. Um, uh, First of all, thank you everyone for joining the webinar. Mr. Jawad and Mr. Asad has explained the things thoroughly, and I hope that um, this session will bring a valuable uh, will be valuable for your business. So let's start
All
with
right.
the
Before you start, I don't think so. We can see your
yes.
presentation.
Let me. Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, now it's
Yeah,
perfect.
I
All
think you
right.
can.
Okay, it's good. So let me introduce my company first. We, as an Aussie Technology, are mobile content provider. We used to develop mobile games and apps and used to publish them on Google Play Store and App Store. And since 2010, we are developing and publishing the apps and games on these two stores. And we are basically a part of a leading IT group known as Aussie Group. So what we have in our profile, we have about 500 plus games and apps on our portfolio, and we have about 1.3 million DAU, 9 million, almost 9 million daily ad impressions, and we are a team of 100 plus employees. So, and we are also using Consoli for our uh, ad serving. So let's come to the topic. Basically, as we all know that the things have been changed during the year 2020, and majority of the publishers faced many issues in the 2020 and 2020. What was the difference in 2020 was basically it was a pandemic year. So as you know that majority of the businesses face shutdowns and lockdowns, and they have gone through the lower sales. So that's why this thing brings basically challenges for the publishers and advertisers as well. So what were the challenges for the publishers? That, as you know, that the business has gone through the lockdowns, and they have the less budgets uh, to promote their content, to sell their for the marketing campaigns in order to sell their products. So that leads that resulted in reduced advertising spending during the year. Uh, the second thing, which during the lockdowns, people used to spend more time on their mobiles. They used to use different apps, and they used to play different games. So this basically brought us more downloads to the publishers, and resulted in basically more ad placements and place orders to display the ads. And the third thing is basically these two matrices. Due to these two matrices, what happened that the publishers got lower CPIs for their acquisitions, and advertisers got low CPIs for their advertisements. And on the other side, if there are more placeholders, more ad opportunities, the publisher got uh, lower eCPMs because of low traffic. Uh, so what was the solution for the publishers in order to get the higher revenue? As you know, the downloads were boosted during the year 2020, and the placeholders, obviously the ad placements has been increased during the season. So what we have, the publisher should choose, should choose the ad formats which used to pay high eCPMs for them, because they have the ad placements and placeholders. So they have to go for higher eCPM ad formats by using the mediation. The second thing is that they use they should use the ad formats which have higher conversion rates. That's mean that if you have a placeholder to display an ad, you should opt for an ad format which will give you higher conversion so that you can earn higher revenue. And obviously the third thing is you should choose the ad formats which will give you good user experience in terms of your for your audience. So for higher eCPMs, as we already know that rewarded videos are the highest eCPM ad format, because user used to opt in for the rewarded videos. And uh, basically user is used to be incentivized by watching a video ad. So according to some Unity, it is the hottest revenue generator, and according to OPEX, 77% of the users are happy to watch a 30-second video ad. Obviously, they are incentivized by giving some coins, for example, some coins in a game, or some new inventory in a game, or you can also unlock certain features by giving them a rewarded ad. So as far as the rewarded ads are concerned, you should use rewarded ads in your games and apps to incentivize the user and to earn the maximum revenue out of it. The second thing is basically uh, 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 playable ads. What are playable ads? Basically, playable ads are basically using the playable ads. Advertiser can basically uh, display a portion of their game to the audience. So if the audience likes it, uh, they used to download the app or a game. So it is highly recommended for the games, because it's easy to have a playable ad for a game, and whenever user used to play that playable ad, if he likes it, he will download it. So it has two benefits. It is obviously it has higher eCPMs as well, and higher conversion rates, and it will also increase the acquisitions because of the higher conversion rates. And it will also add value in terms of retention, because user has already played the content before downloading it. So it is the basically most effective ad format in terms of conversions and retention. And the third one is that if you want to have a good smooth user experience in your app, you should use uh, uh, the native ads, because native ads looks like in native ads basically you can customize your ad by the look and feel your app, and it used to be uh, showed like a part of your app. So according to Media Radar uh, report, it says that it used to increase 8.8x CTR as compared to other display ad formats. And for awareness campaigns, it used to have about 9% higher CTRs and uplift if you want to run a awareness campaign. And on the other hand, for conversions, for in-app, for sales, for acquisitions, it has about 18% better performance than other ad formats. So in Aussie technology, what we are basically we are using ConsoliAds since from 2 years, and what we got benefit from out of ConsoliAds is that if we use Consoli, we don't have to use uh, to create our logins or accounts on other ad networks. Uh, Basically, it's already integrated in Consoli, and Consoli used to has his own accounts for on ad networks. So it's a single sign-on activity. You can just sign on Consoli, and you have automatically accounts on all the ad networks. Uh, the second point is quick boost start with good eCPMs from day one. Normally, when we used to sign in an ad network, we got lower eCPMs because their AI has to be trained, and they used to measure the quality of your app and ad serve or and your audience. So when we sign up Consoli, because they have already configured the networks, ad networks, and then they already have accounts on ad networks. So from the day one, you got good eCPMs, and obviously Consoli has huge traffic on those accounts, so the quality will be good. So for the new comers who used to basically who has just created their accounts of apps or games, I prefer them to use ConsoliAds. It will basically boost their revenue from day one. As explained by Asad already, that we can also earn added revenues from on cross promotions using ConsoliAd, because it has been followed by the mediation of ConsoliAds. So, for example, if I used to promote one game in cross promote my one game into my another game, so when it is installed by the user, uh, Consoli used to display the mediation ads instead of my cross promotion ads. So we have basically additional ad format here in Consoli, that is basically the icon ads. We can we can run CP on ConsoliAds, icon CP on ConsoliAds, and also can earn additional revenue out of it. The second thing is efficient reporting. We have basically downloads on ConsoliAds. We can have downloads reports. We can have impression reports. So we can basically monitor our apps and games with respect to downloads and impressions based on regions, apps, brands, ad networks, and obviously we can have a single platform for doing our analytical stuff. Uh, as far as the Consoli is concerned, um, the SDK part is basically controlled by the ConsoliAds team. Uh, about 2 years back, when we were using Mopup, we used to have our own team which used to develop our own SDKs for ad integrations like Mopup, and we have to write wrappers for different networks. It was a huge effort because we have to write it and we have to test it. Now in ConsoliAds, that part is basically taken over by ConsoliAds team. You don't have to worry about the wrappers, the testing stuff. You just need to download the SDK and integrate it into your app. So it's very beneficial feature of ConsoliAds as far as the uh, ad network SDKs are concerned. And the fourth one is basically acquisitions. As you know already, that ConsoliAds is a platform has major game publishers. Majority of the game publishers are on board of ConsoliAds. So if we want to cross promote our game on if we want to cross promote or basically want to acquire some users from Consoli, it will add value in terms of retention, because your game ad is going to be displayed for in games, and it will be displayed to gamers. So it is very relevant because the gaming content got higher retention and acquisition if it is promoting into games rather than apps. So thank you very much. I think this session will be beneficial for you.
All right. Thank you, Shizad. I have a few questions from the attendees. Right. I think so. Your last slide was regarding the benefits of ConsoliAds. So like, there's a question like, why did you choose ConsoliAds over AdMob and MoPub? I think so. You just spoke over the about MoPub in the end. So I'll add AdMob as well.
Yes, for AdMob is basically biased. It used to give more impressions to AdMob network instead of basically distributing it across all the networks. So when we talk about Consoli, it has a strong algorithm, and it used to distribute ads on merit basis. So as far as the AdMob is concerned, it used to basically give much impressions to AdMob network itself.
Thank you. So that makes it clear. So there's one more thing, like you mentioned in the beginning, like 2020 has been the year of the pandemic, like especially COVID-19. So what did OZ Technology do to mitigate that? As you mentioned regarding the low ECPMs and the I guess advertiser revenue being hit. So what in particular did OZ do to come out on top of it?
So what we did, we focused on some game design elements, and we focused on to integrate rewarded videos instead of interstitials. And we got results out of that. We focused on the user experience during this session, and due to which we use some native ads instead of interstitials. Uh, uh, and definitely it enhanced our session time of the games and retention as well.
All right. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for answering the questions as well. So I think so. Like, everyone's spoken, and so before like we bring this webinar to a close, I have a few things that have come into my notice quite repeatedly. Uh, See, like what happens is, like, when people and publishers or developers are switching their SDKs, right? So what happens is they just uninstall or delete the files directly from the Unity platform. So what I would recommend is, what the best practice is to uninstall all the plugins one by one, and then uninstall ConsoliAds. So what this makes sure is, like, those settings, like which Asad Mahmood glossed over and mentioned, in fact, was like those settings are for different SDKs. So what happens is, when your new build is made, so you face issues, and then the issue of ads not being served pops up, and this becomes quite a difficult task to actually navigate. So the best and the most easiest way is to uninstall all the ad networks one by one, and then uninstall the ConsoliAds. So this would actually make it quicker and easier for, like, all the parties involved. And dev mode, I wanted to speak a little about dev mode, because what I've noticed and I've faced is, like, uh, I think so, by through an error of some sort, or like, whatever the reason, what happens is the dev mode builds are uploaded to the Play Store. So what happens is, when Once your app goes live and the build is dev mode of the ConsoliAds, what happens is ad serving is blocked after a certain number of threshold crosses a certain number of threshold for the impression crosses. So what happens is your ad serving is disabled for that build. So in the end, your app is live and you're not your ads are not being served, so you're losing out on revenue. So just make sure, like when you're publishing your app, to check for the demo that it's disabled and a live build is being submitted. Secondly, like test mode, I actually asked Asan Mahmood to mention it as well. So he made it pretty clear. So test mode is pretty much is to test your ad networks and your ad placements. Test modes is independent of dev mode and live mode. It's available on dev mode as well and the live mode as well. So, and one more thing regarding this webinar, it's being recorded. It has been recorded and it would be available on our Facebook and YouTube channels very soon. So, if you need to, if you have an issue that you probably might have missed, so you can actually just go on Facebook or YouTube and just watch it again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Asad, and thank you so much, Shazad, and thank you so much, Jawad, and thank you so much for all
Thank
the
you.
attendees for attending and giving us asking us questions so that we could answer them. I hope I've answered most of them, and we will be continuing on with these webinar sessions throughout the 2021. And if you have any what do you call questions or queries, feel free to contact me through email or our support chat or contact me on Skype. And I'd be I'd be very happy to help you out and answer your questions. Thank you so much once again, and have a nice day.
Thank you.